What's up, Frugal BC here. Today, got some huge Hedera news. That's right. We got Hedera reaching 100,000 hashinals inscribed on the DLT. That's big. Hedera Founders Swirled podcast is launched with the two founders of Hedera talking some really cool stuff. And Neuron flight tracking software beta is launching on Hedera. That's all great, and that's all great news. But the big one is the partnership between Blackrock and Hedera. So be sure to check that out. Stay tuned to the end because we're gonna share that one later in the video. But before we do that, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe button. As we like to say, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. We're bringing you the truth in crypto, common sense to crypto. No FUD, no shilling, just the news as it happens. And we do the experiment and try things out. Also, since this is not an Algorand specific video, I just want to give a brief shout out to our sponsors, Non-Fungible Domains and Fractal Monsters. But now, on with the show. I mean, first off, we just got this hashinals information. So this is from Generation Infinity. Breaking Hedera, major milestone achieved, 100,000 hashinals inscriptions. 3.1 gigabytes Bitcoin ordinals cost $5.5 million. 3.1 gigabytes of HBAR network cost $1,000. That's a big difference. That's one of the reasons we love Hedera and Algorand for that matter. Both of them are. It's funny. You'll see another Algorand Hedera connection coming up here, but it's a lot of the reasons I like Hedera is what I like Algorand too. Now their tokenomics are very different. 50 billion total supply versus 10 billion. And they have a lot of releases, and it hasn't like really quashed the price too much, other than the fact that it's, from what I can see, if you have a huge supply, your general cost per coin is much lower. Anyone talk about this? Hashinals feels like the future. Want to learn more about the Hashinals ecosystem? Get started below. Yeah, let's look a little more because I don't know if I think we explained this a while back. Here's what you need to know. Inscribe hashinals, currently 0.5 HBAR, message written, inscription fees will go down. Inscription numbers, learn about the standards. I'm trying to find the thing where we actually talk about a little more about. I'm like just going down the rabbit hole because I mentioned this is like my frustration in crypto and things don't get explained well. We can find it. Just give me a second here. Okay, we actually have an explanation. Did I mention my big thing in Algorand or in crypto is like how poorly things are explained generally? Okay. Unlocking the future hashinals, revolutionizing NFT metadata storage on Hedera. Discover how hashinals are rewriting the rules of NFT metadata storage, ushering in a new era of trust and accessibility on the Hedera blockchain. Hashinals is an innovative protocol introduced on the Hedera network. And by the way, this is like sort of a play on, there's their highly scalable answer to ordinals. Ordinals are a way to write NFTs on the Bitcoin blockchain. Anyway, offering a novel approach to storing non-fungible domain metadata directly on the Hedera consensus service through the HCS1 protocol. The advancement represents a significant evolution in the management and integrity of digital assets within the blockchain ecosystem. Background and motivation. In the realm of NFTs, there has been a persistent need for standardized and efficient method to store metadata directly on blockchain. Traditionally, NFT metadata has been stored off-chain, relying on platforms like IPFS or Arweave. However, this approach introduces dependencies and potential points of failure. Hashinals address this challenge by enabling the storage of NFT metadata directly on Hedera Hashgraph, reducing reliance on external systems and enhancing the overall trustworthiness of digital assets. So that's important. So you have everything on the blockchain that's written and can't be muted, so unmutable, can't be changed. So that's what you want. So that's why it matters. The rest is all, the little more detail. We can dive on that another time. But yeah, I just thought that was really cool. Good for a cool thing happening on Hedera. Has anyone done anything like this on Algorand? Not that I know of. I think that's kind of neat. Speaking of Hedera and Algorand, let us load up here. I think this is kind of neat. That took a really long time to load. Two digital titans unite April 25th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got to look at what time that is. It'd be cool if I could live stream that. I think that's Thursday. Oh, I won't be. If it's Thursday, I won't be able to. No, is it? I don't know. I have to look. Anyway, Lehman Baird, co-founder of Hedera, Hashgraph inventor and chief scientist at Sorrel Labs, and your own John Allen Woods, CTO of Algorand, former chief architect of Input Output. I didn't know about that. He also worked at Cardano with Charles Hoskinson. So this is pretty big. They're gonna have a big spaces together. I don't know if it's gonna be a video space or an audio. I saw that they introduced video spaces. That was something I was thinking about trying is even just a regular spaces, just hosting a space while I'm live streaming and then see if people want to come in and chat. I think that might be kind of fun to do once in a while. Looks like people are excited, mostly on the Algorand side. I don't see a lot of. There's a Hedera person. There's some scam. It's the algo guy. I'm kind of surprised there's more algo because isn't this this generation Infinity? Oh, they do like weekly podcasts and stuff. Okay, that's cool. I'm really curious. I think this will be fun to have these two together. Lehman, he'd be fun to talk to. I mean, both these guys are way smarter than me. I'll tell you that much. They know their stuff. But John's a good dude. Like we've had good conversations. Lehman seems like a pretty good dude too. I think it'd be really fun to talk to. Yeah, we got some more stuff. Anyone on? I keep popping back just to check if anyone joined. So by the way, talked about how Al has his own podcast now. The Foundation does, and it's actually pretty good. I thought it was. I mean, it's not going to knock your socks off, but it's listenable. You know, a lot of times when companies make these podcasts, they're just awful. And I thought Algorand's was pretty good, but well, guess what? Also, Swirl Labs has its own one too, with Lehman Baird and Mance Harmon, the other co-founder of Hedera. They're going to talk quantum computing in this one. With these two, I gotta think this is going to be a super nerdy podcast. Like this is going to be like a deep dive into all the super nerdy stuff. It's about 24 minutes, so that's listenable. We'll have to watch that at some point. I'm not gonna watch it today. I don't think. We can watch a little bit. Let's see.
Okay, so let's start with the very basics. What is a quantum computer versus a classical computer?
In a computer, a traditional classical computer, you have ones and zeros.
That's really loud.
In a quantum computer, you can have a qubit instead of a bit. And a qubit, a quantum bit, can be a 1 and a 0, or it can be both at the same time. And you can say, well, it's 3/4 1 and 1/4 0. Or you can even use amplitudes that have complex numbers in them. So you can have both 1 and 0 at the same time. Superposition of the two. What's more interesting is that if I had 3 bits in a normal computer, it could hold, 3 bits, 1, 1, 0, say. But in a quantum computer, if they're entangled, so they're connected to each other in some quantum sense, then you can have all 8 possibilities superimposed. It is 0, 0, 0, and it is 0, 0, 1, and it is 0, 1, 0, and it is 0, 1, 1, and 1, 0, 0, and 1, 0, 1, and 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1, 1. All 8.
Oh man, this is going to be at least as nerdy as I thought, if not more, and that makes me really want to listen to it. But, oh man, this is cool. Yeah, quantum computing. So I have a friend who used to be a chip designer at Intel. Really smart dude. He's the one that tipped me off on NVIDIA, which proved to be a pretty good tip. When a former Intel person is telling you to go look into NVIDIA, it's usually a pretty good idea. And he was right. He saw that they were doing the right things. But yeah, I find this stuff really interesting.
At once.
At once. So it's in a superposition of all 8 of these at once.
And why is that a good thing?
Well, you could imagine I will do operations and have all 8 of them doing calculations at the same time in parallel, which would be great. Sadly, you can't do that. But you can take advantage of quantum mechanics to sometimes get a little bit of that kind of parallelism that is then much faster than a traditional computer. So you do all 8 things at once in some sense.
So you used a term.
Yes.
It was entanglement.
Yes.
Can you go a little bit deeper on what that is and what it means?
So it is not helpful if I have a bit that's a 1 and a 0, and another bit that's a 1 and a 0, and another bit that's a 1 and a 0. What I really need is a group of 3 bits that are a 000 and a 001 and a 010 and a 011, all 8 at the same time. When we connect them like that, it's called entangled. And so in quantum mechanics, when you're in 2 places at once, you're in a superposition of the 2 states. And if all these different things combine in the way I just described, we say they're entangled with each other. And the problem is, it can all fall apart. And it's really, really fragile. So it can decohere where they all fall apart, they stop being entangled, they stop being in a superposition, and this is now a 1, this is now a 0.
Okay.
No, he's really good. He's actually really good at explaining this stuff. Like, it's nerdy, but it's also like designed so you can understand it. Like an idiot like me can understand it. Good Lord. I talked with my friend Bob, Pokey Pedal Bob. He talked to the former Intel chip engineer. We talked about quantum computing, and I very quickly realized I was out of my depth. I think it's really interesting, and yeah, I'll probably have to watch more of this. I have to give him credit, man. He really is explaining that well. This is pretty interesting podcast. I'm going to check that out. It's the stuff that's like, it's probably not super entertaining, but you're definitely going to get something out of it. So I want to look at this other one too. I think this is really cool from Hedera. Neuron beta launch. I'm a part of aviation history. Yeah. So what is Neuron? So Neuron just launched its beta. And we're talking about real world stuff, right? Neuron is an open source public network for building, finding, and connecting services. Our mission is to improve the performance, cost, and robustness of service networks and to reduce the risk associated with using intermediaries. We are pleased to announce that our first use case for aviation is now accepting applications into its beta program for aviation. Interesting. The UK has a history of pioneering innovations in aviation. This is in the UK. Who is from the UK? This is for you, buddy. Just one from Wales. Yes. Neuron's UK-based team felt compelled to continue this long tradition of. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys invented the jet engine. I didn't know that. I just always assume everything's invented in the US. I'm kidding, but we do invent a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's cool. I did not know that jet engine was developed in the UK. To the world's first. And the world's first supersonic airliner, right? You guys are all about that aviation, huh? Neuron's UK-based team felt compelled to continue this long tradition to solve one of the biggest challenges plaguing the industry, the integration of drones into our airspace. 4 years ago, Neuron's founders assembled a team of experts and set itself the ambitious target of building a flight tracking network that can meet technical, economic, and regulatory requirements whilst upholding our values of being open, accessible to anyone, and owned by the community. The journey hasn't been easy, but we built products, broke them, rebuilt them, tested them. We've worked with regulators, airports, drone operators, general aviation pilots, and end users. We have demonstrated live drones to packed audiences at Cranfield University's DART research facility. This work has all been working towards the aviation singularity to fulfill the final part of our promise to hand ownership over to the community. This is now your chance to become a part of aviation history. How does it work? The Neuron suite of products comprises 3 key user interfaces: the customer 4D Sky flight tracking software, the service provider Jet Vision Air Squitter, the Jet Vision Air Squitter, Air Squitter, maybe, I don't know, sensor. Okay, that's a weird word. The Explorer, which is registration system, and everything map. Yeah, it looks all pretty fancy. Any other software applications can join the network with SDK integration, permissionless, or obtain data feeds via the 4D Sky service APIs with an enterprise account subscription. And so they're doing this to collect, they're doing the beta to collect feedback, test and debug, improve new features, etc., etc. So you can buy a sensor if you... Okay, the beta program applications are open to anyone in any country. We can post a sensor to. We can meet the following requirements: be willing to purchase a sensor, which is about 500 pounds. I'm not sure what that is in freedom units. Have a suitable installation point. Be able to install the sensor within 3 weeks of receipt. Have mains power and high-speed broadband internet. Following attributes would be desirable. You are technically compliant with hardware, Linux command line. Your location is near drone aviation activities. You like sharing stuff on social media. Help spread the word. I'm actually like by our municipal airport. I'm like 2 blocks away from it, by the way. You're proactive and like to provide feedback and improve things. So apparently you just installed this sensor. Interesting. What are the benefits besides bragging rights? So you all want bragging rights, right? You get improved local coverage. You earn loyalty points. Free 4D Sky Premium. So you get a free subscription for like at least 12 months, and you get a discount on the sensors. Due to us making a bulk order, we managed to obtain a 15% discount off the sensor's online price. So they're actually more than 500. Oh, it's about 620 freedom units, in case you were wondering. We plan to launch a token when we transition the project to the Hedera mainnet. We anticipate this to be around September, October. So this fall, it'll be switching over to Hedera mainnet, and there will be a token in case you're interested in that stuff. That's pretty interesting. I think that's cool. I like stuff like this. Kind of reminds me of the air sensors on Algorand. That one, I thought about getting involved with that, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But every time I looked into it, it looked somehow it wasn't as uncomplicated as I thought it should be. I can't remember exactly what the deal was. Well, they just didn't have a link to just like, hey, here's the sensor you can buy. Like, at least this one, it's like they got the sensor, you just buy the sensor from them and done. So, okay, so this last news, I mean, this is the big stuff. This is the big time right here. Okay, so we're just going to look at this. This is Hedera partnering with Blackrock on this specific fund. Let's take a look at this. Okay, this is the news, and first off, I got to give a big shout out to Crypto for Change for bringing this to my attention. But let's look at this. Today, we witness real world asset history, that's RWA, as BlackRock's ICS US Treasury Money Market Fund, that's a mouthful, eh? Is tokenized on Hedera with Archax and Onura, making a major milestone in asset management by bringing the world's largest asset manager on chain. This is huge. Guys, this is big time, okay? This is BlackRock. This is one of the huge partnership bringing this Treasury Money Market Fund. It's going to be tokenized right on Hedera. Very cool. Hedera, this development builds on the growing portfolio of institutional RWAs on Hedera, with Hedera Governing Council member Aberdeen, the UK's largest active wealth manager, tokenizing its flagship multi-million-dollar MMF on the Hedera last year. So we're seeing, this is starting to take off. We're starting to see more and more of these. By the way, guys, like for sure, real world assets are going to be huge. So this kind of stuff, this is the news you want to hear. We see stuff. I just had an argument about tokenization. Well, let's get to that. This additional BlackRock MMF, along with the existing offerings, are all available directly on Archax platform, as well as through connected networks to professional institutional clients. Through the tokenization of this additional MMF, the best-in-class combination of speed, security, and low fixed fees of Hedera are further validated, and we look forward to welcoming the next wave of global TradFi institutions to the network of RWA. And this is why I'm big on Algorand and Hedera, even though the price action hasn't been fantastic, especially on Algorand, but they're doing this kind of stuff. So, and this, we're going to see more and more of this. So yesterday's video was me reacting to someone's post that, there were no successful use cases of tokenization. And I'm like the Lofty AI founder, who's this is a real estate platform built on Algorand that does real estate. You can buy $50 tokens and invest in real estate. So much easier than going out and buying a whole property on your own. And I found out the relevant thing here is that most of their customers, and this is according to the CEO of Lofty, Jerry Chu. He said most of their customers are not crypto people. Like they came from outside. And I've actually had a couple people, I don't know if they ever bought it. I think one of them did, that I've told about Lofty, and they've gone and they were not like crypto native people. They weren't like into the weeds like you and I are, right? So this kind of stuff matters. This is when you want to bring people over. This is the kind of stuff that brings people over, and this is what Hedera is doing. This is what Algorand is doing, and this is the important stuff. Like this is the boring but important stuff. I don't think it's that boring, but and this what I like too about is that the council is made up of people who are starting to actually use the blockchain, like we said with Aberdeen. They're on there. The fact that Dell joined, that's really big too, by the way. And if you want to learn more, they have a whole blog post about it on hbarfoundation.org. You can check it out. But guys, this is the big stuff. This is the stuff that really matters. Real world assets are going to be huge on blockchain, and there's a big use for them. I think Hedera with their DLT technology is well poised. Algorand too. Both of them are low fee and they're pretty fast, so you can get a lot of stuff done on chain, and that's really important. So anyway, that's the big news today. I think I love seeing what's going on in Hedera. Hopefully this will start bringing up that price a little bit, which I think we've got about 4 months before we really see Bitcoin take off post halving, and then probably a little longer, maybe toward the end of the year, where we see altcoins really pump. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, hang tight, enjoy this good news, have fun with crypto. It's a lot of fun to play around with. And I'm Frugal BC. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the future.